Will artificial intelligence discover God? When our own intelligent species migrated out of Africa about 60,000 years ago, it spawned a multitude of civilizations that developed very different cultures. In many cases, so different that what was a norm in one culture, the other one found repulsive. Yet, every culture, one after the other, discovered the concept of God. When the current technological revolution culminates in the development of a machine as intelligent as us, something that we use as a colloquial definition of artificial general intelligence or AGI, will it discover God too? Season spoiler, it will, just not in the way that you might think. Thank you for listening and subscribing. I'm Alex Chaduk and this is AGI. Listen every Monday morning on your favorite podcast platform. The ancient Greek scientist Aristotle authored at least 200 scientific publications, out of which none survive to this day. His vastly significant research contributions, ranging from marine biology to abstract theology, come to us in the form of his private diaries, unfinished drafts, and his students' lecture notes. As a form of librarian tradition, these surviving documents are organized into two parts: physics and after physics or metaphysics. By extension, this is how we organize our body of knowledge to this day. Every theoretical abstraction that can be studied empirically falls into one bucket. Everything that defies empirical investigation and can only be reasoned about theoretically, something what Aristotle himself would call the first philosophy, we continue to call metaphysics. The boundary between the two is not set in stone. Things that were undeniable parts of metaphysics before become staples of physics proper as we learn how to measure these things empirically and apply them towards practical outcomes. Until the end of the 19th century, the study of human psychology was a purely metaphysical discipline where the words cognition and behavior would normally appear in the same sentence with soul and free will. But as we come up with new measurement instruments and we integrate new theoretical abstractions into our world model, the general public can observe the progress that Elon Musk's Neuralink makes in engineering new brain interfaces almost without foul cries of sorcery or sacrilege. There are four domains of metaphysics that will be most relevant for the development of AGI, so we will want to understand them better. They are ontology, that answers the question of what exists; epistemology, that answers the question of what is true; ethics, that answers the question of what is good; and aesthetics, that answers the question of what is beautiful. All these four metaphysics can and are studied formally as philosophical disciplines, but there is a deeply human dimension to them too, because we use physics to understand and explain the world, but we rely on metaphysics to make decisions. You may have heard about a close relationship between decision-making and emotional processing in human neurobiology. It is not a coincidence. This is how we process metaphysics on the deep, visceral level. Emotion is our reaction when we see injustice. Emotion is our reaction when we see a beautiful sunset. Emotion is our reaction when we realize we have been lied to. Emotion drives our decisions faster and often in spite of rational reasoning about the problem. We will come back to emotional processing in AGI in a later episode. Today, let's talk about ontology, the metaphysics responsible for the definition of existence. In the previous season, we discussed the fundamental limitation of a consistent world model implemented by an analytical system like AGI. By Gödel's theorem, such system is always incomplete. It is possible to find propositions that are undecidable within the system, which means that it will always require a set of arbitrary assumptions that cannot be explained analytically within the system itself. For an AGI to be genuinely autonomous, it must be able to generate these arbitrary, unexplainable assumptions as part of its ontology. For the human ontology, such arbitrary, unexplainable assumption has been God, the fundamental declaration of existence of which has tied many parts of human metaphysics together, from ethics and morality to beauty and the ultimate truth. Things are not very different for atheists either. Denying God simply means that you have to make other arbitrary, unexplainable assumptions, be it the fundamental randomness of quantum phenomena or the direction of causality in the physical world. You may not necessarily call randomness or causality God, but that does not alter their fundamental nature as arbitrary and unexplainable. So for an AGI to be able to maintain its autonomy and agency indefinitely without getting irrecoverably stuck once it discovers an undecidable proposition within its world model, the AGI will have to develop and maintain an ontology declaring the existence of arbitrary, unexplainable things. Calling them God may or may not be a good idea, but that is really a matter of aesthetics rather than semantics. The fact that AGI will have to develop its own metaphysics alongside its world models means that, in the human terms, it will eventually develop its own culture. For philosophy graduates, whom AGI will soon put out of work as Starbucks baristas, the good news is that there seems to be coming a lot more work as AGI anthropologists. With this, until next Monday, my friends, I am Alex Chaduk, and this is AGI.